TPUSA announces a rival Super Bowl halftime show. A woman is shot to death in a PetSmart parking lot for not saying thank you. And James Bond's signature weapon has disappeared. I'm Daily Wire senior editor Cabot Phillips. John and Georgia are out today. It's Friday, October 10th, and this is Evening Wire.
Several people are unaccounted for after an explosion at a munitions plant in Middle Tennessee. The blast occurred shortly before 8 a.m. this morning at Accurate Energetic Systems, an explosives manufacturer located about 60 miles southwest of Nashville. At the time of this recording, 19 people are reported missing, with multiple deaths confirmed. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis called the explosion, quote, a very devastating blast. Early aerial footage of the site shows smoldering flames among the wreckage. Officials are warning the public to steer clear of the area. According to their website, Accurate Energetic Systems produces explosives for both commercial and military applications. This is a developing story. Please check dailywire.com for updates.
Rumors have swirled that a prominent conservative organization wants to rival the NFL's halftime show during the Super Bowl. Daily Wire's entertainment reporter Amanda Harding breaks it down.
Turning Point USA has confirmed it will host an alternative to the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show called the All-American Halftime Show. The announcement follows the NFL naming Puerto Rican artist Bad Bunny as the official performer for Super Bowl 60 this February in California, a decision that stirred backlash due to his past anti-ICE comments and his refusal to tour in the U.S. due to immigration enforcement concerns. Critics also noted that none of his songs are in English. Bad Bunny responded to the criticism by telling fans to learn Spanish. Turning Point hasn't released details on which artists will perform yet, saying only that performers and event details are coming soon. The organization also invited fans to vote on what kind of music they want to be included in the event.
Earlier this week, we covered a Kentucky man who was found not guilty of murder for reasons of insanity and then released from prison. He's now back in police custody. Here with the details is Daily Wire assistant editor Andy Valdez.
Ronald Exantis was taken into custody in Marion County, Florida, after he failed to register as a convicted felon upon entering the state. Florida law requires convicted felons to register within 48 hours of relocating. Exantis was found living next to an elementary school before he was arrested. Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods says he has, quote, no tolerance for this type of dangerous person flaunting our laws and thinking he would hide out in our county. The Kentucky man was released on parole earlier this month and was considered a nonviolent offender under Kentucky state law. Exantis avoided a conviction for the murder of 6-year-old Logan Tipton, but he was convicted of second-degree assault for injuring Tipton's sibling and father after breaking into the Tipton family home in December of 2015.
The State Department has ousted a diplomat after a secret romance, saying, quote, she could have been a spy. Daily Wire political reporter Cameron Arcand has more.
The State Department fired a Foreign Service officer revealed to have had a romantic relationship with a Chinese citizen whose father was said to be looped in with the Chinese Communist Party. During a hidden camera encounter with an O'Keefe Media Group reporter, Foreign Service Officer Daniel Choi mentioned the relationship several times, acknowledging that he was supposed to report information about her but did not. At one point, Choi said that he, quote, defied my government for love. A State Department spokesperson said in a statement that the White House signed off on Choi's firing after Secretary of State Marco Rubio initiated the termination process.
Republican Winsome Earl-Sears comes out swinging in a debate as the race for Virginia's governor heats up. Here's Daily Wire reporter Brecca Stoll with more.
Tensions escalated in the Virginia governor's race as Republican candidate Winsome Earl-Sears launched sharp attacks against Democratic opponent Abigail Spanberger during their only debate last night. Earl-Sears repeatedly pressed Spanberger over her endorsement of Virginia Attorney General candidate Jay Jones, following the release of text messages allegedly revealing Jones's homicidal fantasies towards a Republican opponent and his family. The debate opened with a question about Virginia's automotive tax, but Earl-Sears quickly pivoted to Spanberger's endorsement of Jones, prompting moderators to intervene and redirect the discussion. Here's some of that exchange.
Really what I want to ask, this first question is, Abigail, when are you going to take Jay Jones and say to him, you must leave the race? He has said that he wants to murder his political opponent.
Earl-Sears pushed the question throughout the debate while Spanberger refused to address her endorsement.
I'm wondering why my opponent won't say beyond its abhorrent and disgusting, why she won't say it is not okay and that he must leave the race because J. Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man, a former speaker, as well as his children who were 2 and 5 years old. You have little girls.
With Democrat Spanberger still leading in the polls, Republicans led by Earl Sears are emphasizing that political violence must be unequivocally rejected, especially in light of recent events. Spanberger, in contrast, has avoided the issue, leaving it up to voters to decide.
Ms. Spanberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse J. Jones? 15 seconds, yes or no?
We are all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about her lieutenant governor nominee.
Ms. Earl Sears.
And it's up to every person to make their own decision.
A dispute over common courtesy turned fatal in a PetSmart parking lot. Daily Wire reporter Amanda Prestigiacomo has the story.
22-year-old Kiona Hampton has been arrested after allegedly fatally shooting a woman outside of a PetSmart store in Dallas, Texas on Tuesday. An altercation was apparently sparked after 41-year-old Cecilia Simpson, who was with her daughter, held the door open for Hampton but never received a thank you. After an argument, Simpson and her daughter headed to a PetSmart store in the same plaza. Hampton apparently followed them there and argued with Simpson's daughter. Simpson attempted to defuse the situation and left the store, but then Hampton allegedly threw a bottle at Simpson's car and a physical fight ensued. Hampton then allegedly took out a handgun and shot Simpson 3 times. A witness says the daughter was near Simpson the whole time, adding, quote, "The screaming of a child for her mother is never easy and it's never going to leave my head."
The Senate confirms the largest block yet of President Trump's nominees. Daily Wire assistant editor Nathan Gay has more.
Senate Republicans confirmed a batch of more than 100 Trump administration nominees this week, despite the government shutdown. These include ambassadors like ex-NFL star Herschel Walker, as well as several prosecutors and administration officials. This is the second time Republicans have used a batch confirmation option since voting to change the rules last month. Before the rule change, Republicans had to process each nomination individually, enabling Democrats to use the filibuster to build a backlog of Trump nominees that worsened during the shutdown negotiations. The new block confirmation process has accelerated this pace significantly, bringing Trump's total to 298 confirmed nominees, surpassing Biden's 201 at the same point in his presidency.
The DOJ charged Trump foe and New York Attorney General Letitia James with bank fraud on Thursday. The indictment comes after a months-long DOJ probe into a mortgage loan James took out in 2023. While serving as New York's AG, James claimed on a loan application that she planned to make a Virginia home her, quote, primary residence. However, that was a lie, according to federal housing regulator Bill Pulte, who made the initial reference to the DOJ. Pulte said that lie was made to secure James favorable terms on the mortgage for the Virginia property. James responded to the charges in a video statement Thursday, accusing President Trump of weaponizing the justice system.
He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless.
James herself sued Trump and his business, the Trump Organization, back in 2022, claiming that Trump had defrauded lenders. The Attorney General said that the president had inflated the value of his own property to secure more favorable loan terms. The Attorney General pursued a civil, not criminal case against Trump and eventually won a nearly $500 million penalty, despite not one lender claiming they were victimized by Trump. That penalty was later overturned by an appeals court. Here's James again.
I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence, not politics.
That indictment against James comes on the heels of charges against another popular Trump antagonist, former FBI Director James Comey, whom prosecutors have accused of making a false statement in obstruction of a congressional hearing. Under the looming peace deal between Israel and Hamas, American troops will reportedly help oversee a Gaza peacekeeping force. Daily Wire senior editor Virginia Kruta has more.
The United States military will reportedly oversee the initial peacekeeping mission in Gaza, though no American troops will be deployed on the ground. Following the ratification of a ceasefire agreement, U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, announced that a 200-member U.S. coordination team will manage and oversee peacekeeping forces drawn from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and potentially the United Arab Emirates. The total size of the multinational force has not yet been determined. Under a 20-point framework, the mission aims to stabilize security between Gaza and Israel, and to train a vetted Palestinian police force within Gaza. While details of the operation remain limited, CENTCOM emphasized that there are no plans for U.S. troops to enter Gaza.
Kristi Noem says Homeland Security is in the business of, quote, purchasing more buildings in Chicago to expand ICE facilities in the Windy City. Here's Daily Wire's immigration reporter Jenny Terr with more.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told President Donald Trump during a cabinet meeting Thursday that she recently scouted out additional facilities the Trump administration plans to use to expand ICE's presence in Chicago. The move comes as Illinois sues the Trump administration over its decision to deploy hundreds of National Guard troops to protect ICE agents facing an increase in threats. During a hearing Thursday, a judge paused the deployment for 2 weeks, saying there was no evidence of any, quote, danger of rebellion. But the Trump administration isn't backing down from its efforts to target cities and states that have provided sanctuary to illegal immigrant criminals. In one blaring example of the risks sanctuaries pose to public safety, DHS told the Daily Wire that authorities in the sanctuary state of California previously ignored an immigration detainer lodged against Mexican illegal immigrant Beto Cerrillo Villalba before they released him onto the streets after his third DUI, before he went on to allegedly kill 6 passengers in his 4th DUI last month.
3 Islamists have been arrested in Belgium for allegedly plotting jihadist-inspired terrorist attacks and the assassination of the prime minister. Here's Daily Wire reporter Tim Pierce with more.
Federal prosecutors said in a news conference that an investigation turned up evidence of a plan to carry out a jihadist-inspired attack, and that the targets included a number of top officials. News reports said that the targets even included Prime Minister Bart De Wever. According to prosecutors, the suspects aimed to construct a drone capable of carrying a payload. 3 young adults, all under the age of 25, were detained after an anti-terrorism judge ordered a search of their homes. Prosecutors said that in one, police found an improvised device, potentially explosive but not yet operational. In another was found a 3D printer thought to be used to manufacture parts for the attack.
And James Bond's signature weapon was erased by Amazon Studios, igniting a strong backlash. Daily Wire culture reporter Megan Basham has the details.
The altered artwork, promoting titles like Dr. No, GoldenEye, A View to a Kill, and Spectre, was released in time for James Bond Day, but quickly drew outrage from fans and media critics. Viewers noticed that classic Bond poses, once defined by a pistol or Walther PPK, were replaced with oddly edited images, including one where Bond's arm was elongated to hide where the gun would normally appear. Critics accused Amazon of sanitizing and censoring the spy's image to be politically correct, arguing that removing the weapons stripped away a defining feature of the franchise's identity. Following the outcry, Amazon quietly replaced the gunless posters with stills from the films, though those still avoided showing firearms. Many fans said the move reflected a misunderstanding of Bond's enduring appeal as a suave but dangerous secret agent whose weapon has long symbolized his lethal professionalism and cinematic cool.
Those are your drive home updates. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it this morning, we covered some major stories, including Donald Trump assembling his cabinet as the shutdown continues, the tightening of the New Jersey governor's race, and the spike in wait times at American emergency rooms. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a weekend edition of Morning Wire.